Game number 3, excuse me. Is there going to be an early team fight? Is the question. Because there has been quite a few going on tonight.
Yeah, there's been quite a fair few. And you've got the hook on Yuma. So they could try, but they have the low ground. And there is an early ward here from Alliance to spot them if they do decide to run up the high ground. It's a little bit risky.
No, Alliance are going to wait for this, I think.
30 seconds to battle.
Well, Yuma, he's making his way down. It's very cautious, though. Like, they seem to kind of know that something is a little bit awry here. Theolacore, well, he's going to run right into them now, realizing that was a huge mistake. We'll go for the heal up, though. Makes his attendance. Not oh, nice hook. Yuma finding Ponlo. And it's just a pond full of fish, I think, for Yuma, so very easy hook to land. But do they actually have the control for him? I don't believe they do. Ponlo's going to run. Bannerin's pretty much all going the way of Alliance. There's only one left and Divine Armor is rushing for it. He will at least get that. As Ponlo is just going to TP right out in front of Theolacore. And they just could not catch him. That is just so unfortunate.
Yeah, doesn't pan out. You lose all bounties, you don't find the first blood either. Gonna be a pretty rough feeling for D2 Hustlers. You don't miss out on too much, but that is a huge gold injection, especially for Chuan mid. And this earlier bottle gonna give him a lot more spamability and durability in that mid lane. And this Puck versus Tiny lane, it's not too bad for either side. I think the Tiny has a better time controlling the creep wave though. He just bursts it down so fast with the avalanche and with the tree grab. So you shouldn't be bullied out at all from Xantic. At the same time, Chuan should not be shut down unless you get some early rotations in somehow.
That's top lane. You're seeing Divine Armor and Hakoda going at it here. Charlie and Hanskin going to be in contest with these two. This seems like it's arguably the more boring lane, right? Like, you could find some kills happening here with a double slow from Hustlers, but I think Charlie can be just careful enough to not get caught by those spells.
Yeah, he can just dodge out. He can just use Mirror Image whenever it's up to Dispel on hand. So he's always got a little bit of a save on himself to kind of just back away from the aggression that the Hustlers will try to bring out. At the same time, you don't really expect the side of Alliance to be aggressive, which is usually what you want to see with a Clockwork, right? Like, you kind of want to just run up, try to play with Cogs, Battery Assault, but you've got Naga. Chances are Naga's not going to be running up with you side by side to maximize the Cogs, so you can't just go for that early pin down, and it should just devolve into that free farm lane that you're expecting here, Mike.
Yeah. And the bot lane's probably where the more fun's going to happen, right? Like, you've got a pos 1 Pudge. I say that, like, they're against an Underlord Disruptor. I mean, it's kind of hard to say anything's going to be fun when you're up against an Underlord, but, you know, maybe a nice little hook on Ponlo could mean a kill to break out. You never know.
Yeah. You could try. Ponlo's doing a good job of just disrupting Theolacore and just preventing him from trying to get too much harassment out or trying to really do anything in the lane. He does have a nice enchant creep though. The Chain Lightning's up. So the time to be a nuisance is there. The hook does miss from Yuma, but the first few levels are going to be a pretty slow farm. Ponlo's blocked. Oh, he eats a tree.
He'll break through the tree line. He'll be okay, but loses half his HP in that split couple seconds. What a hero.
Yeah, what a creep. Chain Lightning is, well, it's really annoying. It does expire at least, level 1 enchant. It doesn't last all too long. And you said top would be boring. It is starting to shape up here.
Hanskin? Oh, he was barely going to make it out, but not quite. Hakoda will hand over the tip here to Hanskin. First blood goes the way of the Jakira. Not the biggest deal in the world, but I'm sure D2 Hustler's going to be very happy with that start.
Yeah, you get an easier time to just control the lane. Surely you can't fully commit onto Charlie, but you can always commit onto the clock. There's no way to really save yourself when these two heroes are just on top of you. You find S4 as well.
They do, S4. Going down here bot lane as Theolacore's going for a little bit more. Ponlo able to make his way out, just barely, but... Already, D2 Hustlers, very, very strong start here on both side lanes. And I say strong start in side lanes, but even mid lanes kind of going their way. Like Exantic, top of the CS board on the Tiny, having no issues with Chuen. We kind of know what happens when Exantic has a good laning stage. Johnny tends to take off pretty darn quickly.
Yeah. It is that lane though, right? Like Tiny just clears out very stable. He can keep shoving the creep wave, can go for the denies with a tree throw. There's not too much the puck can really do to shove you away. You do have the better range, but it doesn't really matter. Tiny has enough HP to kind of last through and just kind of play his game. And this good start for D2 Hustlers. It is a bit of a scary thing to give out. Like, it's only 2 kills. It's only a very slight net worth lead, but the fact that you're out CSing by a huge margin across every lane is concerning. Like, S4 is not able to dominate and just farm up. Pudge does have enough base damage to kind of just overwhelm that atrophy aura. It doesn't really matter for him in trying to CS. He's always got the rot as well. So you're not stopping Yuma from just playing that lane. And, I mean, top lane's just a Broodmother lane. You know, once the Spiderlings are out, Charlie's gonna have to back off, try to play in the jungle. He is fairly tanky now with 2 Wraith Bands. So you really aren't gonna be gunning down Charlie anytime soon, but Hanskin does nothing in this lane. He's just running around trying to get a pull, but Hakoda's always there to disrupt, and you can't stop the Broodmother.
You certainly cannot. That's why you don't give Divine Llama this hero, as it can be a little bit of a rough affair to try and go up against this man. Especially when he's on this Brood. 2-0 so far, 1k advantage. Again, mid lane at Xantix had an extremely good time. I look forward to seeing the rotations being made by this man once you see the 6-minute power rune spawn up. Chuen, still not too far behind himself, but really wants the Witch's Blade before he starts making some big rotations out as the puck. I think both these mid laners just going to continue trading farm here. Though it is about that time for the supports to start rotating to secure that 6-minute power rune timing. Alliance already rotating both the supports, but it seems like D2 Hustle's going to do the exact same thing. So important between these two to not give a free rune away. Hanskin going to block the top rune. They've even caught this Jakiro. They'll pop the Dream Core for this one, but the Avalanche going to protect Hakoda, at least for now. Hanskin, though, he's going to dive for it, and they do find it. In comes Theolacor from the side, chasing down the Clockwork, but the Kinetic Field is going to hold him down. But the Centaur eventually will catch the kill. Is Chuan trying his absolute best to protect, but couldn't quite get there.
They do at least snipe away the Regen Rune on Theolacor, so you don't have a top-up here for Chuen. He will have a TP top-up from Hanskin, and that does provide some utility for the Clockwork here. But an instant smokeout for Hakoda and Exantic. Not spotted by any ward.
Yeah, top lane they go. Oh, Charlie will be a massive kill. Hakoda needs an Ice Path for this one. Looking to line it up, but can't quite get there. The vision was quite limited for the Jakiro. Problem is, in the meantime, Ponlo does end up going down anyway, as Theolacor able to pick him off on the Ench. So you still get something across the map for your trouble. And keep in mind, like, every lane's gone very well for D2 Hustlers. Like, you look even back down a bot lane, Yuma's top of the CS board now on the Pudge. And S4 is kind of unable to test him at this point.
Just can't do too much as the Underlord. Very passive hero, you just try to burn down in lane. The percent-based burn, and you block off a lot of that damage. Just with Yuma and his Flesh Heap. You can't really kick him out of the lane. Whereas up top, you've already got a rotation into the jungle here for Charlie. He knows that level 6 is approaching. He doesn't want to have to deal with the Spiderlings coming out. They're trying bot again.
Yeah, they will. S4 caught out. Yuma just going to chase him down. There's no escape. Second death for S4 this game. Second kill for Yuma on the Pudge. And he's going to have a really nice timing on his items if this keeps up. Like, not only free farm, but just the kill gold coming in.
It's all lining up. You have a free lane for Divine Llama up top, so you can just kind of take that top tier one by himself. Exantic is still holding his own down mid. No real rotations that can come in to try and punish him. Everything's just kind of lining up, and Alliance They just have to play the slower game. You know, you went with Underlord plus Naga. You can't expect any plays coming out from S4. And neither can you expect that from Charlie. And you don't have level 6s on your support, so they can't make anything big happen either.
There's that top tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, bottom lane, S4 again going to find himself in danger. Yuma able to secure the kill. Chuen might get the kill back their way, and he does find the punch. But the Core, well, he should drop as well. Very nice rotation from Alliance now. Really punishing Yuma and Theodore Core, but it still concerns me the fact that they found that kill before he does end up dying. Yuma may not be too upset about that death, honestly.
He's fine. He drags attention to himself. He frees up the mid. He frees up the top. They're invading that top jungle fully now with a top tier 1 gone. This is what a Broodmother does. It shifts the map. You have to find a counter trade in objectives. A nice hook.
Certainly bot lane. We've got Hanskin this time around. Dismember is committed, but the battery assault will cancel. I think Yuma was hoping the creepway would tank that battery assault, but it's a little bit unlucky there and will not be able to continue channeling. Like you said, like in the meantime, Divine Llama's just rather just splitting the map up. And everyone but Chuen is kind of suffering on Alliance right now. Like really, the Puck is the only one having a good time. Everyone else, it's a much slower process.
S4.
It's okay this time around. You're getting a little bit low, but he's alright.
Bit of Defiance more than enough to just protect him there. Barrier, you don't really have the Macro Pyre up and running to try and just melt through it. And so you don't find his kill opportunity for Exantic. For Exantic though, I mean his blink timing's gonna be so damn fast on this Tiny. He went for the power treads as well. And he's only about 690 gold away from that full blink. So he's gonna be set to go. For Alliance, their big timing are still these 2 support level 6s. Hanskin is halfway, or just about to be halfway. Ponlo's a little further out. At the least, when you have hookshot, it makes it easier for Chuen to try to commit. So you get more play out from Alliance. That's when you need to start running around the map here. Now, try to find these kills. Try to force Hustlers to move away from top. Provide some relief for Charlie as you know, the Naga is suffering quite a fair bit.
S4's dead again. Yuma picks him off another time, and Yuma may not even die here. Chuen is desperately trying to chase him down, but now Ponlo's in trouble. They glimpse him up. Ponlo, he's trying to get out of range. Yuma, he doesn't have hook yet, but maybe he could go blind now. He's silenced up for a moment. Yuma, he's gonna try, but he can't get it. Ponlo will avoid it. While all this is happening, though, Divine Llama and Hakoda are casually pushing the top tier 2 tower. There's not really much Charlie can do about it. Charlie's the only one here trying to defend.
And they've just completely ignored that top lane. They're focusing instead to slow down this Pudge, which they're doing a fine enough job, but they're losing way too much map space in exchange for that. Like you do not mind this at all for the side of Hustlers. They drag up at Xantic as well. Objective is just gonna fall. And now, where does your Naga farm? I mean, Charlie's not that far behind. It's not the biggest network lead in the world, but where's the map space for Naga? You don't have bot cleared out. Bot tier 1 still stands here for D2 Hustlers, so bot jungle, it's not somewhere you can really play. Yuma?
Is he really in danger? He's got help around him. Hanskin needs to run. This Pudge is such a danger right now. This glimpse back from Ponlo will save the day. Yuma eventually should drop. And he will. Hanskin does go down, but it won't really matter too much. It's a big kill on Yuma. My issue is Charlie's in trouble top lane. He's gonna pop the song. He's slowed down by the Silken Bowler, but he's gonna be just fine as Divine Llama. Just voice lining him while he's at it. I mean, he knows how good of a time they're having right now at this top lane. As much as you can kill Yuma, if your Naga's not farming, they won't care.
Yeah, it's... You're not even losing that much gold here on Yuma with these stats. Like, he still has decent farm. It's taking a lot of commitment to just kill him off. With this bot tier 1 being taken, you do have more map space now for Alliance to potentially swing into. But now you have to play into Xantic's Blink. They've got initiation now on D2 Hustlers. They can start to play aggressively themselves.
Bottom Bottom lane, S4, he's had a rough time already. Yuma needed to go for a blind hook if he wanted the attempt at that kill, but won't be able to go for it. Hanskin Ponlo still sticking around looking for that punch. Jump in, Yuma. He'll go for a dismember onto S4, but he's trying to bait for his team. So the hookshot does come in, but Yuma's literally taking no damage right now. Chuen is going to finally move in as well, but they're just taking way too much. Yuma is still alive. Chuen is trying so hard to get this kill. Yuma is okay to back off as they will even pop the Nature's Attendants. Meanwhile, Chuen, he's been caught out.
Oh,
he never went
no.
for the jaunt away. And he is going to drop. These bottom fights, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but most of the time it just feels like it's going D2 Hustle's way anyway. Like, the most they're getting is a Yuma kill. But he's still farming just fine.
I mean, this Pudge, the timings are still going to be there. I'm wondering if Yuma actually does decide to just go BKB first. Save the Ags for later. Hanskin? You could try.
Might give it a crack. Yuma is quite low. Hanskin, they do go for the glimpse back into the Static Storm. They are going to find this punch. You start to wonder, like, at what point does Divine Llama say, hey guys, maybe, you know, maybe get out of that bot lane?
You look force going
the
through the gate.
He won't bother with the Fiend's Gate anymore. He'll just die.
Wanted to cross the gate into unknown lands, and Mike gets punished for
Yeah.
it. So they find some good kills. Farm distribution does even out a little bit more. You are catching up off the back of slowing down his Pudge quite a fair bit. The Violam is still just kind of AFK up top, which you should do. They're trying though.
Yeah, bot lane, toss back, Hanskin. Really no way out of this, surely. He'll try to buy as much time as possible, but Hook is going to land perfectly from Yuma. That is going to be a clockwork dead. He'll take him out, no problem. And meanwhile, this Spider is still being an absolute nuisance now. Has the full Guardian Greaves up at 15.5 minutes. He's just not left the top lane. He is continuing on his mission to push out this top wave constantly. Alliance, props to them. Like, they are doing a decent job of dealing with it. I think Charlie's has been sending mirror images over and over again to try and clear out the Spiderlings, but at some point this is going to get very frustrating to have to deal with.
They've got rune control here as well for D2 Hustlers. So double damage for Exantic. You're very close to your blink time here for Chuen. That could help them lead more kills. Yuma in danger again though.
He is in danger. Or is he? Hook is out on Pond,
my
but that
God.
only allows the Static Storm to come in. Thing is, Divine Llama's joining this time around. With the Greaves up now, he feels confident. Is this the fight though? They have almost got Yuma down. He is still barely alive as Hanskin will drop, but they found Yuma. They've got the punch gone. But can you deal with the Spider? Charlie says probably not. He's going to TP out immediately with the song.
Man, they still lose S4. They still lose 3 heroes for Yuma. I mean, who's the real bait here? Normally it's people committing on to the Broodmother and getting, you know, counter-killed for it. This time it's the Pudge attracting all the attention and Alliance bleeding out. I get the idea. You know, just avoid the Brood. Ignore her completely. Prevent that scaling to come in. Instead, target the big core that wants to scale in the Pudge. But there's just too many compromises when they make these moves. Like they just aren't able to cleanly kill off the Pudge. Yuma's just so durable. 7 Flesh Heap charges. Maxed out Flesh Heap. He just turns on the active when he's being jumped. Stalls out for enough time. They're fighting close to objectives on Alliance's end. Like, these are not the safest spots to force these engagements out. At the least now, you've got the Blink and Chuen. So again, he can try to make more aggressive plays for the team. Set up for the team if need be. Bail out as well if there's any danger. Do you have enough AoE damage coming out though? Especially if you're trying to go onto Yuma, that the blink should be constantly cancelled as well. So it's not exactly the safest bailout if the Pudge is around.
It seems like the D2, they're like slowly getting map control, though Charlie has taken over a net worth now. So he has found the farm on the Naga Siren. Maybe not quite as much as he would like, but certainly feels like he is getting there now. Main problem still seems to be the Spider. So now Alliance looking to hunt down Devi.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We're showing the mid creep wave here. This could be a great opportunity for them to try and make the jump on the spider. But no, they're actually going to run down towards bot. Let's control this area instead. They're not feeling confident trying to make the jump in against the Greaves carrier. And I suppose Alliance are more than happy playing a dragged out game, right? Like, you've got Naga, so you kind of want to play that game if you can. Even if you are still up against the Pos 1 Punch, who could be a real problem later on. For now, it seems like they're more than happy just securing those core items on Charlie first.
Yeah, I get that. Like, yeah, the Pudge will be a problem with Yags up and BKB. But at the same time, once BKB fades, if your Naga's just kind of playing in the back, runs in when Pudge is a little bit more exposed, you can rip through with illusions, just try to spam them in. If your teammates are around as well. I mean, he doesn't have too much armor. And when Flash Sheep is down, the Naga can rip through a Pudge. So there's some sort of counterplay there for the Naga, in a way. It's a little bit harder to pull off, but you've got some ways of dealing with it. I mean, you also have the percent burn on S4, the Firestorm. But that Ag's timing is up now for Yuma. So I'm sure he's going to be feeling happier in these fights with way more output if he does get jumped.
Dire are scanning. Radiant's middle tower.
I'm going to push that mid tier 1 tower with the mirror images. Looks like Yuma actually ends up buying the tomb after having a few too many deaths, I think. Just feels like they need to catch up. Very, very upsetting to see, by the way, John. Taking the tomb away from another support is bottom lane. Bit of a messed up engagement here onto Chuen. Had to back his way out. Mid lane, S4, very far forward. Completely alone. He is a bit of a tanky boy, but once he gets hooked in by Yuma, he is as good as dead.
Yep. You take them, those freebies. That's the Ag's reveal now on Yuma. They might be able to find a Xantic. This is a big one.
And they could try Xantic. Been unkillable in the Tiny so far, but Hanskin just constantly chasing him down. Still Xantic making a run with the Glimmer Cape, and now the Ice Path to try and turn this one. He does blink out. They do not find the Tiny. It's Chuen looking for his own way out. Is going to be just fine to do so. Sadly for them, like, that could have been the first kill into the Tiny, but not quite. I mean, he's not really worth that much gold anyway, to be fair. He's got no kind of spree going, but, you know, it would have been nice.
Hanskin's not safe.
No, he's not. Hanskin's dead. And Xantic picks him off of all people.
He TP'd back in for that.
I mean, why not? Why the hell not?
The
Mid
hook
lane.
save.
Yeah, Devi's fine. He is not going to drop here. Like, they're picking out Roshan. They want to try for this instead. I don't know if they're that far ahead to try for Roshan, but I suppose they are quite powerful right now. Like, you know that Charlie's not ready to completely fight with this team. Song's down anyway, so they are going to try for this.
Song's down, Static Storm's down for a little longer. So it's the Dream Coil, so you don't have your team fight ready on Alliance. Sure, it's not the fastest Roche, but Alliance can't fight into it, for sure.
Yeah, it's a free Roshan. It's literally just going to go the way of D2 Hustlers without any kind of contest, I don't believe. Well, Hanskin is running towards Roshan, but Thelacore is there to kind of block his way. So the hookshot angle would be quite hard to find. You will get a bit of vision here on the Roshan pick, but it's too late. Just the way of Yuma. And even though Yuma has died 5 times this game, you have to admit, he's been very hard to kill. Like, he's a tanky guy. Now killing him twice in these engagements, it does feel like it's going to be somewhat impossible for Alliance to get that done. Unless he's the only one left alone, which it's kind of hard to see at this point.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see that coming up here for Alliance. And for Alliance right now, they're reaching this critical mass on Charlie with a heart. At the same time, again, like, Pudge is still a bit of a foil to that. I'm curious to see how well it actually does. The Bloodthorn does allow the Naga to do a little bit more of output. as long as Yuma doesn't have the BKB, and it's still a ways off. So they have a window here they can kind of punish Yuma if he does go too far forward. And it does feel like, despite this lead from D2 Hustlers, they have kind of slowed down in terms of map control right now. Like, there is still room that they are finding here on Alliance to keep that farm game going.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They're going to try and push down bot lane, it seems like. D2 Hustlers just grouping up now. Well, that T1 tower, of course, has to go down first before they make the move for the T2. Divine Llama just hanging around mid lane. Classic Broodmother play. Just doesn't need to be part of the team. Will do his own thing. Going for the 4 aura build up here on the Brood. Just AC up next after the Pipe Guardian Greaves.
Radiant's top tower.
I mean, S4's doing pretty much the exact same thing, but it's just a bit of a slower process considering how his laning stage went.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Not going to be anywhere near as fast as Divine Llama's speed.
It's just a Pudge lane. You don't do much against that hero. Atrophy doesn't stop a Pudge from farming. He's tanky enough with just the value point in the Flesh Heap and lane that he just survives through the Firestorm. And he has so much magical burst for the Underlord, so S4 just had no way of working that lane out to his advantage. Bot tier 2 goes down without too much of contest, mid faults as well. So now additional map control comes out for Hustlers. But EA just running for a little bit longer, and they can try to make something happen. They'll smoke up here.
Here we go.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Alliance, I just don't think they want the fight right now. They still need more time. Like, Charlie's getting very close to the heart of Tarrasque. Maybe at that point you feel confident to try and make the fight happen. But they're not at that point yet. Still, the rotations are incoming. It's Xantic. We'll have his smoke broken in just a moment, but he's not quite within range yet. Now it will be broken. He knows they're in there somewhere. Yuma, he's going to run right into Charlie. That's a great ice path from Hakoda, catching both of them. And Charlie just gets destroyed.
Oh, man.
Not even close.
Yeah, he just doesn't last. And that's him with at least a Reaver up. So, I don't know if the Heart's going to do enough for him to stay alive in these engagements either. Got a lot of output inside of D2 Hustlers and Alliance. I mean, you're playing on the right side, right? They're forcing this movement across the map from Hustlers. They're farming in the triangle. They're trying to get what they can. In the Aegis, it is down to 1 minute 30 seconds. So not too much time left, but the BKB is flying out for Yuma. So if he does decide to maximize that Aegis now, he's going to have the BKB in the second life, and it doesn't feel like you have enough in Alliance to deal with 2 lives on the Pudge.
Here we go. Mid lane. They'll start the push. S4? Yeah, S4's very far forward here. They drop the Static Storm. He's going to be just fine to survive, but now they've caught Charlie out of the Naga. He'll go for the mirror images and just walk out of there. Zuma is dropping a little bit low on the punch, completely out of mana now as well. May not want to force the fight, so it seems like they are going to back their way out. And they will. D2 Hustlers maybe just come back for another day for that attempt at the high ground. In the meantime, Charlie again is just going to desperately try to farm up that heart of Tarrasque that he almost has up. It's Hustlers. Well, they have 30 seconds left on the Aegis, but it doesn't really seem like enough time to get the high ground done that they wanted. They just leave it at that, I think.
Yeah, no opening. They're respecting the high ground hold of Alliance. Like, there are a lot of plays you can try to do with a Pit of Malice, the Dream Coil, even with Song to counterplay here on Alliance's end. So they need some pickoffs first. Let's smoke up. You know where the Naga's playing.
It's a big one. We've seen them. They have plenty of damage for this Naga Siren, and they're going to run right into each other, I think. Hakoda, nice vision. Have they seen Charlie, though? They barely missed out. And so they'll have to take the clockwork. Hanskin will eventually die. Charlie does get the full heart up now. Even then, I still question if that's going to be anywhere near enough to survive through these onslaughts. So it just doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it yet. Maybe with a Mage Slayer and the BKB, you start to feel more secure. That is one way to kind of deal with the rot damage coming out from Yuma. Especially if you get the hits off onto Yuma. Like, the magic damage reduction does hurt the Pudge in a massive way. That could be the way back in for Charlie to kind of carry this game through for Alliance. For D2 Hustlers, they're just biding their time. This is a bit scary in the sense that, again, it's a lot of space for Alliance to farm. They're not really being stopped. Chuen is working onto his Octarine. And when he does manage to find that farm eventually, the puck just becomes much harder to handle. They're working towards a Heaven's Halberd coming out on S4, which could be really useful as well against Davai Lama, preventing that right-click damage from flying through. So there are answers starting to present themselves on Alliance as this game scales on towards the 30-minute mark. And Hustlers, if they don't find the next Rosh and try to high ground, that's where things start to feel awkward. Because again, the high ground hold of Alliance, it is pretty strong. They've got good wave clear. They've got good team fight for up high. It's tough to pierce it. And if you can't do it with the Aegis, then it just feels like you can't do it at all.
Here we go, mid lane. We're going to find the Tiny. Xantic, he's a big target, but they get the BKB off, so he's going to be just fine. The Violama looking to move in as the coil is going to be committed, but he does snap the coil immediately, and there's just no follow-up to it. And now Yuma, he just jumps right in. He wants S4 on the Underlord. S4 being slowed to an absolute crawl as he gets caught in the ice path, but the song, it's going to buy him time to TP out. They see that it's not the fight they wanted. They leave, but Yuma is hunting for more. Glimpse away from Ponlo, going to ensure he cannot continue the chase onto Hanskin. But they might be able to try for high ground.
Yeah, and that Song down, that Static Storm down, and Coil down, all the big teamfight spells to hold high are gone. So you have your opening now, if you wanted to try and force that issue. They aren't really looking to go. Just the lack of pickoffs make it a little bit more uncomfortable for the side of D2 Hustlers. Again, just pulling back, playing it safe. They will eventually spot out Roche with the map control they do have. Alliance, though, dipping outside as a group. Like, they still have some parts of the map to play into. So they can try to get what farm they can, but smoke out here from Hustlers.
Well, they might run into Charlie. Charlie, I mean, he's got his team around him. Klim's back on Yuma. He's out of position now to try to make the jump into the Naga Siren. It's kind of it's a classic game against the Naga Siren where you just have so much trouble pushing high ground. Just the amount of split push you can provide as this Naga. The song to disengage every time.
Yep.
But they're just waiting for the next Roshan, it feels like, these two Hustlers. That gives Alliance plenty of time to figure out a way back into this game. Not that they're really out of it anyway. Like, they're 7k behind, but 31.5 minutes in, it doesn't really feel like the biggest deal.
No, again, they've got high ground hold. As long as your tier 3s are intact, you still feel pretty good here on Alliance. You're still finding farm. You're not really dropping too far behind on most heroes outside of S4 is kind of the outlier on the Underlord, but it is an Underlord as well. It doesn't need too much farm to be effective.
Bottom. Hanskin, he's okay.
Oh.
Close, but not quite close enough.
Yeah. Mass TP's up top, though.
Yeah, Ponlo's just going to TP out, seeing the Spiderlings chasing him down. Doesn't want to borrow of that.
Ah. 32 minutes in. 19-8. Alliance gonna try for their own smoke play. And you're inching towards that Octarine timing for Chuen. He finds an Arcane Rune as well. It's big for our puck here. Now they just need a target. And Xantic's the only one stuck bot.
He's alright, he just blinks away. So instead they're going to aim down the tier 2 bottom tower, it seems. I mean, Charlie, he'll be more than happy to take that. Like, it's an objective that he didn't have earlier as Alliance, so take that away. Maybe take the outpost for yourself as well. Because Roshan is about 3 seconds from respawning now, so you are going to have Hustlers with first dibs on that. Dakota will scout it out for the team. Also at the stage, of course, with the tree volley is now available on Xantic, as he does have the Ags on the Tiny. No crit available, but it still does a hell of a lot of damage just with the tree volley on its own as Charlie. Gonna do the old ratting play. Let's just TP out with the song being committed. Did a hell of a lot of damage onto that tier 3 tower. And this is kind of the game plan from Alliance now to try and come back into this game. Just rat whenever you can.
Yeah, just get what you can. Try to push in. And try to force movements out from the side of D2 Hustlers. D2 Hustlers, though, they're on to Roshan. Just Dalai Lama and Yuma alone are more than enough to get that done. No contestation coming out from Alliance. So they are trying to push out, but no smoke up. No, nothing. They do have the full BKB up on Charlie, so he feels a lot safer here.
And there goes Hanskin. Try again for that high ground attempt. Plenty of time now with the Aegis up. Yuma even finding a nice regen rune, so you won't have to go for a reset on the Pudge.
Radiant's middle tower has
Was a bit low on mana, but now we'll be just full mana up. Heaven's Halberd even being built up here on S4, just preemptively. So I'm gonna
That's
move in
one
now.
way to save you. So it's a way to save you from Divine Llama at least. The rats just fall. They're not really in a good position to defend both.
Oh, S4. Nice toss back from Exantic. Tree volley immediately afterwards for the backup damage. He's got no buyback. He committed that gold for the Heaven's Halberd. He does not have a way to get back into this game for another 40 seconds or so. Yuma, he's going to get jumped by Charlie, but he's not really taking too much damage, and Exantic happily jumps in. Charlie now the one in trouble, forced to BKB to just run, but he gets caught by a hook. Dismember there as well. The BKB is still going, but it might mean Hanskin is dead, and he will be. No buyback, as that was a dieback onto the clock. And the hooks are still coming from Yuma. He's just fountain farming them now.
Dire's middle barracks.
Onto the mid-racks they go.
That's Song and BKB down in your Naga. You can't stand up front anymore.
Is under attack.
You still have that Static Storm and a Dream Coil ready. You have a weird angle here.
Yuma's getting a little bit low. Might look to reset on the Pudge, but no, they're going to move in. Exantic has gone in on his own. The rest of his team is backed off. Or maybe it would have been misplay. Huge ice path though from Hakoda, but where's your follow-up? Like, Yuma just left the building. He wasn't interested in this team fight. Now the glimpse back onto Hakoda. He'll keep trying to run his way out. Alliance are on the chase with the Dream Call to connect. But the follow-up is not there. Charlie is still trying, but he ensnares himself now. Yuma's going to jump in, immediately seeing that. With the Dismember holding down the Naga, and Charlie cannot make it out with the song. Tips out from Divine Llama. Tips out from everyone, in fact. No buyback on the Naga.
That's big. This should be the push coming out from D2 Hustlers.
Glimpse back onto Yuma, going to ensure he can't keep going up to S4, but without the Naga up now, you are lacking all of your net worth here on the side of Alliance. So Hustlers, they can keep going. Another hook on S4, going to catch the Underlord. Still, he'll try to push him away. The Pudge dropping low now, but still has the Aegis up as S4. Just going to TP out in front of them. But Hanskin is going to drop once again. Exantic not going to get the avalanche he really wanted, but nevertheless, they're going to go right for Megas. As S4's called once again by the hook of Yuma, and he is just dead. No buyback. They may just have to call this one.
Oh, it's true.
Exantic going for a little bit more. Chuen. He's okay to get back to the fountain, but the tier 4 towers are under siege. They have nowhere to run. And now the Ancient under siege as well, as Yuma just running, just spinning in circles right now. He literally could not care less. Bit of PM before the game ends. Why the hell not? The GG is called. Alliance have seen enough. Game 3 will go the way of D2 Hustlers, which means, Jonathan, they remain